Thank you, everybody, for joining us on SFGovTV's Meet Your District Supervisor series. My name is Franco. I'm a native San Franciscan, first generation. I'm also a small business owner, and many people may recognize me actually for the last probably 2+ decades as the voice and in-arena host for your Golden State Warriors, just around the ways over at Chase Center. But I'm also very active in our community. I raise a lot of money as a professional auctioneer, working for many nonprofits and schools within our district, in our community. But I'm also very proud of being an appointed San Francisco Film Commissioner as well. So I try to stay active in this city, which I love so much, and I know I have Board of Supervisors from District 5, Bilal Mahmood, who represents the Tenderloin, Hayes Valley, Western Addition, Fillmore, Alamo Square, Japantown, Nopa, and Haight-Ashbury. Welcome, Supervisor Bilal Mahmood.
Thanks, Franco.
Thank you. All right, fist pumps. I love it. Well, you know, I want to get to know you, and we all want to get to know you. Your background. Where are you born and raised? Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm a proud son of immigrants. My family moved to this country over 40 years ago and was born and raised in the Bay Area. And San Francisco always was a cultural center for our family and our community. The city, and specifically the Tenderloin, where I now live, has always been a hub for immigrants and refugees. My family is originally from Pakistan, and nearly every month we would come to just the Tenderloin just to go to the food, meet the community, and it was kind of a home away from home. But my story, I don't think is that unique. This neighborhood and this district is a hub for immigrants from Pakistan, India, Yemen, Palestine, China, Vietnam, Ethiopia, Eritrea. We're a hub for communities and refugees and a hub for upward mobility. And I think that's what the Bay Area represented for my family, and why we want to give back to the city as well, so that every generation has the same opportunities that my family had when they first moved here.
Amazing. I'm also a son of an immigrant too, so that's what I love about our diversity. There's just so many different cultures, as you described right there. But what got you into politics in this career?
It was to serve the community and give them what they deserve. When I ran, a lot of the conditions in the neighborhoods, from the Tenderloin to the Fillmore, Western Addition, all the way to the Haight, I saw how people were suffering from addiction. I saw how small businesses were closing. I saw how families were struggling to pay rent. And being the son of immigrants and seeing how important those conditions were of housing, safety, small business, really felt that that's what we really need to turn around in San Francisco, because that is the path to upward mobility. And we needed to realize a future where our neighbors could afford to live here, our small businesses could be thriving, and our families and our children could walk down the street and feel safe and secure. And I've worked in government, I've worked in technology, I've worked in nonprofits, from the Obama administration to Silicon Valley to community impact funds in San Francisco that I established. And every place I worked, I noted how by using innovative modalities, you're able to create fundamentally different solutions, and government had the best way to provide a transformative impact on policies that could actually make us possible to build more housing, or policies that make it easier for us to hire more police officers to in turn ensure safe and clean streets. And so I just saw consistently that policy was holding back our city, and having seen innovation and good governance policy in the Obama administration and borrowing innovation from the technology sector, I felt that San Francisco deserves the best of both of those worlds. And as the economic, the cultural, and the technological hub of our country, we deserve to be in the 21st century that ensures that quality of life for everyone.
Well, let's talk about San Francisco as a whole. I mean, there's obviously many pressing challenges since those pandemic, and we're on the road to recovery. And, you know, many might say there's definitely hope, but there's also a lot of work to be done still. What are some of the most pressing issues in your mind that face San Francisco today?
I think our focus and our platform is basically how do we bring back an assurance of safety, but also a guarantee of joy. And I think you can't have safety without having joy, and you can't have joy without having safety. And
Agreed.
I think the best encapsulation of how to solve those problems is UN Plaza. UN Plaza is in District 5, and for many years people thought it was an insurmountable problem to solve the open-air drug market that was there. If you walk past there today, it is night and day. And it's because
Indeed.
they had coordinated police action, ambassadors that keep it secure, but they also transformed that location into a skate park. And now at night you go by and you see that you have children playing with their parents on skateboards, you have people playing chess, you have people doing Zumba classes, which I still haven't really done yet.
Yeah, same here. We got to get into that, but there's activity.
There's activity, and I think that's how you solve these challenges. And
Right.
so I think we have a fentanyl crisis, we have a public safety crisis, and we have to acknowledge that and invest in the solutions, but we also have to focus on the joy. And if you don't have those two things in complement working with one another, you're not going to fundamentally solve the problem.
And safety is first and foremost. You got to feel safe in your own neighborhood, your own backyard, so you can do the things you want to do out there.
Yeah.
And it's great. I've seen quite the change now. People are starting to go out more, especially post-pandemic, enjoying their neighborhoods. The neighborhoods, I think, are starting to really thrive in many ways. How about I ask you, though, personal question. On a Sunday, if you had nothing to do, which you've got a lot to do because it's your first term. I know you're always probably thinking about a lot of things, but a true day off on a Sunday, what would you do in San Francisco?
If I had infinite time on a Sunday afternoon,
What would be the one quick thing like, this is my thing?
Go on a run through the Panhandle to JFK Drive. I think it's amazing that it's car-free, and it makes it really easy to kind of like enjoy the nature, but also we have some of the best parks in the city.
Yeah.
I'd then go to my local coffee shop. I go to Phil's on Golden Gate in the Tenderloin, read a book, and then watch a film. Or go to the theater. There's Golden Gate Theater in the district as well. And I think that's something that people don't realize as much about San Francisco is that we are a hub for small business, but we're a hub for the arts. We're the hub for parks. We have the best parks in the country, some of the best arts, and we have to invest in those things because that's what really makes us fantastic and great. Even around here in the Civic Center, we have the symphony, we have the ballet, we have the opera, we have the Golden Gate Theater, we have the Orpheum. We're a hub for the arts, and investing in that, I would love to. I have a personal passion, which I often go to the symphony every time they play either a movie or a video game soundtrack.
I love that, and melting those together and seeing it live. I got to say, we do have some of the best arts and entertainment and sports, of course, as well. I do want to ask this. I'm on the Film Commission. How important is film to marketing our city? Like when things are filmed here in productions, you talk about the arts. I mean, it's a different type of media arts production, but shows. It really is a big part of our city. Yeah,
I mean, I remember one of my fondest memories was The Matrix was being filmed here. The last one took over downtown. There was helicopters. I went out with my roommates and we all watched it. It felt like Comic-Con. There was like 200 people in the streets just watching. And I think when you bring film and investment to San Francisco, you're revitalizing the economy, you're employing local workers, but you're also making it fun and enthusiatic for the people who live here. And then every movie ends up being an advertisement for our city.
Yes, and people want to come and see, like, that was filmed here. That Matrix created such a great opportunity for us.
It was a little weird seeing scenes that were actually Joe and the Juice, but were instead in the Matrix.
Transformed, I know, isn't it wild? Yeah. But that's the beauty of that movie-making magic, right? And we have such history here. Thanks for answering that. That was one of my personal questions. But let me ask you this. You're talk about your decision making, your approach. What do people need to know about Bilal Mahmood and your approach to decision making when it impacts your community, the department, and just your perspective on that? Can you share with us?
I think for too long in San Francisco, people have tried to focus on decisions by ideology. Mm-hmm. And I think we're in this new phase, and my principle has always been look at the data and look at the evidence. Yeah. And regardless of where the ideology of that solution comes from, we have to look at what works. Okay. I think a good example of that is the fentanyl crisis. Okay. We have been promoting a framework or a solution called a drug market intervention strategy. It is the only solution that has actually worked in the United States to curb opioid dealing. It's a combination of collaboration, deterrence, and prevention. You can't bucket it as one ideological solution or another because it involves enhanced enforcement against high-level drug dealers, but it also involves providing off-ramps for first-time nonviolent offenders for workforce development, community ambassadors, after-school programs, prevention. And so you can't bucket it as one solution or another, or one ideology. It's just based on the evidence and what works. And I think that's what we need more of in San Francisco, is working on promoting things based on evidence, not ideology, focusing on results and not just rhetoric.
Yeah.
and actually getting results, because that's what people in San Francisco deserve.
Metrics, show us.
Yeah.
Show it to us. Yeah, no, and I think you're right. And any business should approach that way, right? And we should definitely look into our city that way as well. Let me ask you this: what keeps you motivated to do your job right now? I mean, I know you're new into this as a district supervisor, but what kind of approach? What keeps you motivated to keep doing this? What keeps you up?
It's the children of the district. I
Okay.
think something that a lot of people don't recognize is that District 5, and specifically the Tenderloin, has 3,500 children. That is the highest concentration of children anywhere else in the city.
Wow.
And our focus is on the children of the Tenderloin deserve the same childhood as the rest of the city. Growing up, the Tenderloin was my home away from home as a kid. It had the only Pakistani restaurant. There was a neighborhood close by toy store. Today, there's not a single toy store. There's not a single ice cream store in the Tenderloin. And our focus is on ensuring, and what motivates me is to give them the same childhood that I felt I could experience when I visited here as well.
Wow, that's great. And I love how you mentioned, the kids. Like, I didn't realize 3,500, it's the most in our city. And I've actually walked through those streets before, and great little gem there, Demariac Academy, 100% funded for these kids going to school there, giving them an opportunity.
Yeah.
The talent coming out of 826 Valencia, what they're doing with creative writing and all the things they're doing. And just there's a hub there, and I feel like it's got so much potential and vibrancy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you touched upon that.
I mean, touching down on that point as well, that street that you talked about with
Yeah.
Demariac, St. Anthony's, 826 Valencia, it's called the Golden Gate Greenway.
Yeah.
And I think it represents the future of what's possible for this neighborhood, which is when we talk about public safety, we're talking about ensuring that children have safe streets
Yes.
to walk to and from school without having to walk past drug dealers. We're talking about neighborhood revitalization, so we have not just infinite corner stores in a neighborhood, but ice cream stores and toy stores
Right.
and things for children to actually do outside of the parks that are there as well. Because this neighborhood has amazing amount of joy and hope and optimism, and it deserves the love and attention that the rest of downtown gets as well, to support the communities that already lived here.
Absolutely. With that note, can you share maybe like a success story right now that's in your district,
Yeah.
something that has seen this light and it's continuing to hopefully inspire most?
I think focusing on the Golden Gate Greenway itself, I think the plans
Yeah.
for what we want to do with that and the community coming together is a success story, where they want to turn that into a park and a children's playground. So for instance, this Saturday, we're going to have the first street fair of the Tenderloin on Saturday, April 5th. And it will be the first time that food is openly cooked in the streets of
Wow.
of the Tenderloin, the first time that a DJ is playing for kids in the Tenderloin, the first time the Warriors are going to come with the coaches.
That's amazing.
And teach 100 kids basketball. And I think it shows that this street, which has been known for some other type of activation,
Yeah.
will now in the future be known for children's activation instead, to serve the community and the needs of the people who live here.
Yeah.
So I think the Golden Gate Greenway presents a strong investment of the community coming together
Yeah.
to provide a future for the neighborhood residents that live there.
That is definitely, that's so positive to see that. And I'm sure the kids in that community, I mean, you see folks from the Warriors, this team, like, they feel so distant yet so close, and they're actually in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes a kid's eyes open up and just say, wow, right? Give them as much of a normal childhood as possible, right? I love that. That's amazing. Now, looking now, I mean, you're starting your first term, but looking at kind of your short-term goals in the next, 2-3 years, and then also looking at the 5 to 10 year goal. Can you share with us a little bit about your short-term and then maybe your long-term vision and what you hope to do while you're in office?
Yeah, I think guiding both the short and the long-term vision is a principle of good governance. I think for too long in San Francisco, be it on housing, on public safety, and even small business, the government seems to get in the way of enabling us to do the basics right. On housing, we are the slowest city to build in the entire country, and definitely in the state.
Yeah.
And despite the same interest rates and the same labor conditions. So we actually just introduced the first ever kind of budget legislative analysis study, which will study why are we so slow, how many permits we have, and how do other cities, how are they better than us? So we can borrow best practices and convert that into law. It'll be the first time we've actually mapped out every single permit in San Francisco for housing development and all the times and steps it takes to get there. This can affect small business
Yeah.
and housing, and even if you live, if you want to remodel your house as well. Second thing is also in public safety, we have to make it easier for government institutions to function. Right now, we know it takes too long to hire an SFPD officer or a DPW worker. It can take, on average, 9 months. And so when we live in a city where we have an officer shortage and it takes so long to hire the basic workers, something is deeply wrong. So our focus is on dismantling that bureaucracy to understand how do we make government work for the people and deliver on outcomes.
I love that. That's great. You know, the processes are just a little long to get things going, but it's great to thank you for sharing about all that. That's really just optimistic and really looking ahead here for us. Now I'm going to kind of shift the focus here. We're down to the end of our interview here, and I like to have a little bit of fun. People know me as obviously being a little energy and personality, so these are just quick one-word answers, little rapid-fire questions from me that I came up with, and just whatever comes to mind. All right, we're going to try to do this in a very quick way, but just without thinking, give us your answer. You ready to do this?
We'll try.
All right, let's get to know you a little bit. All right, Supervisor, here we go. Golden Gate Bridge or the Bay Bridge?
Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
City or suburbs?
City.
Of course, yes. BART or Muni?
BART.
Okay. Foggy mornings or clear skies?
Foggy morning.
Okay. What about this? Cable car or a bus?
Bus.
Best view in the city?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. We could pass that one. Okay, how about this? Stanford or Cal?
Stanford.
I knew that. I was doing. Had to say that. Just a couple more here. How about this? Tech or the arts?
Arts.
Okay. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
Okay. Best Pakistani food?
Shalimar on Jones.
Okay. And then let's get one more in here. How about this? You want fast food or gourmet?
Fast food.
Okay, now that's an easy one. Let's do this one. Painted Ladies or Chinatown?
Painted Ladies.
Okay. No, I got to ask one more. Hiking or biking? This is too good.
Hiking.
Okay. I got one last thing. If you had 4 flavors to choose from, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, or green tea, what would you pick?
I'm pretty plain, so I'd go with vanilla.
I'm a vanilla guy too. Well, you know what, Supervisor? I got a little something here. You know, we're very iconic for not only our sourdough breads, chocolates. We've got Cioppino that was invented here, but Golden Gate Fortune Cookie Company, you said vanilla. So that's that one right there. I've got a vanilla one for you. We got something in San Francisco. Now, any fortune cookie has a fortune, right? So we got to take a look at what your fortune is.
Sounds good.
Take a look. And you can have it and eat it too. This is yours. What is it? Read it out loud.
Avoid agreeing with people merely to keep peace.
What do you think of that? In your job, how does this?
I mean, I think it means that sometimes you got to say the hard thing, to stand up for the community, and speak the truth. And sometimes people deserve to feel heard and seen. And people want answers, and they don't like they want to feel heard, and they like seeing the answers.
I love it. That's a great close. Well, enjoy your fortune cookie. This is District 5 Supervisor Bilal Mahmood. For more information, of course, more interviews with Meet Your District Supervisor series and all the programming going on through SFGovTV here. And also, your meetings are also publicized and broadcasted here. For more information, go to sfgovtv.org.